What's happening, y'all? So just got back from a trip, and I am cleaning up and organizing my Diag cart, getting it ready. I'm going to be doing an updated video on it, as well as recording another video talking about marketing, because I've not done a video like a long form on marketing yet. And then I don't know what else I'm going to get into. So just trying to organize the best way I can for now. I also cleaned out some space. I sold my Vantage Ultra to clean out some space because I already have multiple. What's up, Honda Rob? I don't do lives on YouTube very often, so there might not be many people that stop by. It's a way different demographic for sure. Way different demographic. So anyways, I'm just cleaning up and organizing this and trying to get this a little bit better set up. I need to get rid of some of these extra sockets that I have and whatnot. I need to get one more base for this as well, I think. Get this ready for the tool cart tour video. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I should probably do more and stay consistent. TikTok's like this weird other animal when it comes to live streams. And so I think just because it's so easy to scroll through and watch random lives, so, you end up getting a ton more people involved. But I honestly think if you just stay consistent, like if you watch Eric O's when he does his What's Up Wednesdays, he gets a ton of people coming through there. And he also has a ton of subscribers as well. So, obviously that helps. But anyways, I'm working on cleaning up this toolbox, my Diag cart, and I'm going to do an updated video on it as well. So I've added some things and changed some things, and I've not stayed consistent as I've added them and adjusted. So I'm like, well, I should probably get on here and do that and be a little bit more consistent. And it just needs to be done anyways. So that's what I'm doing. These technically shouldn't even be in there. I just have too many of them. Stream from all the platforms at once. I wish I could, but I can't. I have to have multiple phones for that, and I don't have multiple phones. I'm still not done with that one yet. So I got, as you can see, the top's an absolute disaster and a mess. That's why, because I'm still not done, but I'm still waiting on getting my other socket organizers, but I did get my ratchets in there, and then I just have to get a few more to add the rest of the sockets, so then I can get rid of that tray and clean that up. So I got a software for that, Marketing Power. Oh, to stream them all from at once? That would be super nice. It would be a lot better and make things a lot easier for sure if I stream them all at once. So, but yeah, so this is essentially where it's at right now. I did get the Tekton wrench. I'm sure you saw those, the Tekton wrench holder. So we'll see. The Ernst ones have the magnets, the Tekton ones don't. So I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind that, but whatever. So I didn't know. Had I known the Tekton ones did not have magnets, I wouldn't have bought them. I would have just bought the Ernst ones. But they are like half the price without the magnets. The magnets get expensive, as you know. So, anyways, so yeah, that's where that's at. This drawer is no different. It's the same. I'm still adjusting. I'm selling those sockets there, and I'm selling off a few things as I'm organizing and going through all of my doubles. And I've just got a lot of doubles of stuff. So once I get to that one a little bit more, it'll be a lot better. So nice. Yeah, if you have a good software program for that and it works, let me know. I'd be interested for sure. It would be a lot easier to be able to stream from multiples. I just don't know how much. I feel like you'd need a massive amount of bandwidth for that. So, but I could be wrong. I'm not like a techie guru when it comes to things like that. I try to stay in the tech of the automotive world. So anyways, I'm just trying to clean this stuff up a little bit anyways, and just utilize what I can with this. I told Brandon we need bigger ones. These little ones are fine for some stuff, but I definitely would like to see bigger holders for that, for sure, like more, just because it'll be a little bit easier to utilize, because I'm like, not a ton of people. This would be really good for like desk organization, like office stuff and whatnot. So just trying to keep it as organized as I can and utilize what I can. Even some of these aren't even big enough, really. But, one step at a time. How much do you think organization for your socket drawer can cost you? It's going to cost a lot. The whole point of the organization series, though, was to like show and prove that you don't need to buy a new tool cart. So like this one here, as I'm sure you saw from the videos, from the walkthrough, is like I was able to fit a massive amount of more sockets in this, as well as extensions. I was not able to fit more ratchets, but what I did was I used all of the ratchets that I use normally. I think I was like, it wasn't a ton extra. I think I maybe had 3 more ratchets, maybe. And then I still had all my other ratchets in my other cart. So I just stuck to the ones I used the most, and then took up the extra space with the more sockets, the more extensions, and the more wrenches and all. And I added my punch and chisel set, so I was able to add 35 more wrenches in this drawer. And as I've said, I may end up changing this down the road. As of right now, I'm happy with it. And then I was able to add a ton more pliers, all of my punches and chisels. I had already this set in there. I added all of those wrenches, these wrenches, and then those there as well. So I added a bunch of stuff. It's going good, Mead Mobile Repair. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, 500 gigabytes. Yeah. I don't know if I would be able to do that. What is this dude doing? Sorry. Hold on. He won't be able to comment anymore for a while. So anyways, I was able to fit a ton more stuff throughout the process. But yes, it's not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be expensive. I'm guessing, and I'm going to do a follow-up video and add all of the cost of everything up. So I will do a follow-up video adding all of the cost of what it would cost you to do the same exact thing or similar. So that way you'll have a good idea of exactly, a good basis anyways of how much it's going to run you. So 57-inch Matco 4S. Nice. My dealer has a Matco 4S on his truck right now, and I think the build quality is nice. So it's very, 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 very good. So. All right. I guess I can just throw this in here, I suppose. Just an extra little connector. And then really this is the main, the bottom here needs some adjustments and some changes and stuff. So Enright Auto Notice Me. Notice you. Don't know what the heck you mean by that. This thing I need to probably just throw away. Actually, you know what? I am just going to throw this away. It's a Craftsman 200 amp current amp clamp. Gosh, can't talk. So when I do these lives, it's like everything goes out of my brain and I'm thinking of too many things. I've had that for literally since I've been in the career, but I have like multiple amp clamps now. Don't need it. So I'm going to take that out. and see what adjustments I can do in here. That can throw away. And then what I need really is some of these bigger ones from Onreva. So I might just order some more of those from Onreva and then go from there. For now, because I don't really have a good place to put everything. Probably better off going right there. And why I have an extra laptop charger in there, I have no idea. That's for my vacuum or back pressure gauge that I made, which is right here. So the gauge is right here, so I'm gonna put that with that. Pico quick start guide, and then this is for the amp. Throw that away, clean that up. Multi-probe. See if I can clean the cord up a little bit more on this. I'm in the market for a scan tool. I really like one of the other guys' scan tools, the Solus from Snap-on, but I heard the Zeus is good too. Which one would you get? It really depends on how you're gonna be using it, what your skill set is, and what your plans are. The Zeus has a 4-channel lap scope. Are you gonna use the lap scope? Do you know how to use a lap scope? The Solus is just their basic wired bidirectional scan tool that has some basic bidirectional controls. It does a few other things, but it's mostly for just your basic necessities. How many tool carts do you have, and why do you like them versus having an actual full-size box? I don't really like them having a full-size box over having a full-size box. I have a full-size box, a 72 Master Series. The only reason I have that is when I started the shop, that's what I started with, was that and this. And that's all I had was this box and this cart. And then I added my Harbor Freight locker. Well, then I started running out of room because as you obviously start a shop, you start to buy a lot more like specialty tools and stuff. Whoops, sorry, hold on. I'm messing y'all up here. So I started running out of space. Well, then I bought my Diag cart, and that cleared out quite a bit of space from my main box here. And so I loaded that up. Well, then my main box got full. So then I bought the KRS C46 as additional storage. And what my plan was, not additional storage, I'm sorry. My plan was to use this as my roll around cart and use this as storage. Well, I did that, and I hated this cart, using it as an everyday cart, only because I have been using this cart for so long. So then I switched everything back and went back to this cart, and now that ended up being storage. And as I'm sure you can imagine, that's not a good storage cart. I'm actually selling that cart. This one I bought for myself. So this I bought as a personal cart for me. It just ended up having to come in here for additional storage because I ran out of storage. And the only reason I did all of that was because it was much cheaper upgrading to an Epic. I priced it all out, had it all built, and I was like, this is dumb. There's no point in me buying this cart, putting this kind of added pressure on the shop because I don't run my my tools and my boxes and stuff on credit. I'll use the Snap-on credit account to get the rebates, and then I pay it off. So I was like, I'm not going to spend, I think it was like an additional $9,000 or $10,000 if I wanted to upgrade to the Epic that I wanted. And it was just it was not a smart financial choice. So I didn't want to put that added stress onto the business. So I did the carts instead. Whoops, they were a lot cheaper and more affordable at the time. So, and I'm happy I made that choice. But if you're in the position where you don't have to do that and you can pay cash for the bigger box and it's not going to strain you or anything, then do it. Yep, can't borrow tools from someone else. I do have a buddy that has a shop local to me that we have like helped each other out and stuff. But even then, it's not convenient, and he doesn't always have what I need, and I don't always have what he needs. So it's just much more efficient to get the tool yourself and go that route. So that's how I ended up with so many carts. So like I said, the KRS C46, the cranberry cart is getting sold. This cart is going back to my personal house, and it's going to be my personal tool cart. And then I actually have a new toolbox slash tool cart. Kind of, it's hard to explain. I can't really say much about it, but I have a new setup coming, and so we'll see. I'm excited to try it out and test it out and stuff. So that will be coming in April-ish, somewhere right around in there. Don't mind my hunting boots. I'm like literally just chilling in my hunting boots and my rubber hunting boots and my sweatpants. We just got back from a trip. We were gone Wednesday through to this morning. We just got back, or actually this afternoon, and so I came out to the shop, got the stove going, warmed up the shop, and I'm just organizing some more stuff, trying to get this set up a little bit more. I'm almost contemplating on taking these out of here because that will create some more space, and then just utilizing the rest of these, which would be nice. And then I could just run these all next to each other, basically, which would be okay with me. So if I did that, I could go like this. The only thing is like I ended up cutting and making some modifications too. And so now they don't really sit next to each other very well, but it's almost perfect. I can sit, but it's fine. Not a big deal. Should probably just throw these away, but I feel like you can never have enough test leads. And the only thing is like, it's nice because I know exactly what size they are. Maybe I'll do this. This is the joyous part of doing organization stuff, is testing it out and seeing what works and what doesn't. So here we go. That works. That'll work for now. And honestly, I'll throw that away. That way I can utilize that space a little bit better. So, what's the majority of work you do? I do a lot of timing chains, head gaskets, and more. So I do I do some timing chains. I specialize in Hondas and Acuras. So I do a lot of Honda and Acura repairs. That's not all the work I do. I do Asian and domestic. So I'm trying to think of what I got into last week or the week before. Like a couple weeks ago, I did a rear main seal and a PCV clean out on a Equinox. The PCV froze up and blew out the rear main seal. I did a starter on a Silverado, and then I did a starter on a GMC Denali, and also on that Denali I did some belts. No, not some belts. What else did I do to that thing? Oh, he had a rubbing noise at low speeds at full lock, and then he also had another noise. Oh, it was a loose clamp on an exhaust. I do a lot. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's literally, there's like not one thing I do a ton of. I do a bunch of stuff. I don't do a lot of big jobs, so it's pretty rare. Like that rear main seal job, it's pretty rare that I do bigger jobs like that. Being a one-man band, I stay away from bigger jobs. Your margins go out the window on big jobs like that. So you just have to be really smart about the work that you schedule. And so I try to stick with, smaller stuff. I make sure on my diag that I charge appropriately and I'm getting the time that I need for it. Stuff like that. So do you work mostly by yourself? Yeah, so it's just me right now. February 1st was our 4th year in business. So we're actually looking for a larger location. We have been for a while. And so we just haven't found it yet. So once we do, we will be ready to rock and roll. So we are still looking. Let's see. That there. I actually take these little ones out here. So we're still looking for a larger location. Once I get a larger location, then I will be hiring another tech, and I will be coming off the bay most of the days and just be running front of house until we get to the point where we can hire a second tech. And then eventually, once I hire a second tech, then I'll start looking into hiring an advisor and then hiring a third tech, so on and so forth. Those there, and then I can start moving some stuff around. What are things you want to see when you hire a technician? As far as like the technician, positive attitude. I'm looking for more of attitude than I am other stuff. And I can't tell you 100% because I've hired people in the past, but never hired people for my own business. I hired people I was a manager for multiple other locations back in the day. And so I hired for those businesses, fired for those businesses, and managed. So it is going to be different, but obviously skill set's going to be a part of it. I'm also going to do a working interview. So when they come in and they interview, I will first interview them. I think this is a mistake where a lot of shop owners make right now, and that's just because they're desperate. And I understand that they're desperate, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing or whatever. Everybody's pretty much desperate for people, but I also don't want to make the mistake of just hiring somebody just to hire somebody. So I'll interview them. I'll do a working interview, just an in-person interview. And then I'll probably bring them in and interview them with my wife, or maybe we'll take them out to dinner and my wife will go with us, and then I'll get a feel for what she has to say. And then I'll actually bring them in and work them for a day. So let them work in the shop. I'll pay them for the day. Basically do everything as if I'm going to hire them because they have to be covered by like workman's comp and all that stuff. But it'll be like a working interview and then kind of see what their skill set is from there. But I want somebody who's wants to be there, somebody who's willing to learn, someone who wants to take training, because I will have a minimum requirement of training per year, so on and so forth. So if I'm going to train and better myself, I expect my employees to do the same. And I think a lot of that comes into your hiring ads. A lot of it comes into your pay, your benefits, things you offer. And it's not just pay. A lot of it comes down to benefits as well. Freedom. Some people want freedom. You got to find out what they want. Because me as a tech, when I was working for the dealership, I wanted freedom. It wasn't about pay for me. I didn't want more money. I wanted more freedom. And so I think just having an actual candid conversation and talking to them, so many people just assume it's all about money. It's not. Maybe somebody's working at the dealership like myself, and they're tired of working weekends, and they're tired of if they have a slow day, they can't go home. I wanted to go home on slow days. There was no point in me being there. So anytime there was a slow day, I wanted to go home. I couldn't just leave anytime I wanted. There were just so many things that I was like, man, I could be at home doing this right now. I could be home and doing that. We worked every year, day after Christmas, day after New Year's. We worked every third Saturday, which ended up being every few months you work 2 Saturdays in a month, however that lands out. I forget exactly. It just sucked, man. I hated that. I'm in Ohio. Southern Cali. I'll actually be in California possibly the end of this year. My wife was born in California, and my father-in-law lives there. So there's a possibility that we might be going to California. I'm going to do like a family visit trip and a content creation, like a business trip. So go out there and meet up with some other content creators and do some videos and so on and so forth. So kind of 2 birds with 1 stone type of deal. So yeah, and California is a little different for sure. You guys have a lot different regulations and all of that stuff. We don't have a lot of that crap here. So I think a big part of it again is if you're willing to pay and treat them well and do things that a lot of the other places are not willing to do, you obviously are going to have a leg up on other shops for sure. So where do I want these? I guess I'll just put them right here for now. It's not like it's that big of a deal. So definitely a lot different. Indiana, yeah, you're close to me. Super close. I'm about 30 miles-ish east of Columbus. So a couple hours from Indiana, depending on where at in Indiana. So put this back. Find a good spot for this. If there is a good spot for this, probably not. There's not. I kind of figured. But there we go. I can move these down. Probably work a little better anyways. We're gonna have so many anyways. So clean that up. Yes, sir. So that's pretty close to being done now. I need to move some stuff out. I do have like a few choice other little things. And then I also moved some stuff out from the drawers as well. So I moved out my amp clamps, my pass-through module, my ITS 600. Idealistically, I could move, one of these scan tools. I don't need them all up top here. It's definitely redundant for sure. From up top here, I can move some of these into this drawer because this is where I had my Vantage Ultra, but like I said, I sold that. So I have my borescopes in here, and I will probably come through and reorganize all of this again for sure. Actually, I know I will. This actually is magnetic, so I can actually put that borescope there, and then the Milwaukee can sit there. This is for my laptop for the Picoscope. So that can go somewhere a little bit more convenient than there. I'm selling my Thermal Imager Elite. So that'll come out of there and that'll clear a little bit more space. So this drawer can change up a little bit for sure. Idealistically now, I could probably adjust this and make some changes. The reason I did this is because on this cart, you get this open spot here. And if you see, I have all of my wires and stuff up in there. So you can open and close that drawer, no problems. Which is really nice. So if I wanted to, I could get rid of that drawer, but then all the wires would be up top and it would be a nightmare. So I just don't think I want to do that. And I don't know. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with these. You know what I need is like those twisty wire things to keep them organized and stuff. So anyways, that's pretty much done. I like on my carts and stuff, as I'm sure you guys have seen from this cart, I try to keep everything in one. The more efficient you can keep yourself, the better. So that's why I utilize all the stuff on the outside. I've got my Snap-on benchtop charger plus, I've got my smoke machine, I've got my grease gun, which technically that don't need to be on there. And then I've got my Picoscope leads on the back here. And obviously everything else is right on it. So I literally just roll this over, do my diag, hook up my benchtop charger plus, get things rocking and rolling and move on. Like it's not, a whole process. You literally just roll it to what you need. It's already plugged in because the cords on these things are super long, which is nice. Eventually what I want to do on this one is on the back here, I want to get some sort of tray and like utilize these screw holes here for the charger or something, or utilize these holes and then put a tray and hold a power source. So then I can just plug the cord right into it and have it portable no matter what I want, and then just recharge the power source. So, like the, trying to think of like the Jackeries or the, I can't remember the other names, but there's several of those companies that make those. So that's what I want to do. So then I can literally just roll it around anywhere and I don't have to be plugged into anything. If I can get at least an hour out of it, I think that would be fine. If I can get one big enough that would last long enough for like 2 hours, then that'd be fantastic. I think that would be the prime time setup. So, and if that all works out, what I'll do is like when I hire techs and stuff, I'll get either more of these carts or I'll just buy the 6 drawer from Harbor Freight and then just use that and not worry about having this big drawer, and then we can set it up. But turning one of these into a diag cart would be amazing, Or honestly, turning one of these would be amazing in a Diag cart too, and then just put your mount on the back, and having a workspace would be incredible. Obviously be ultra expensive, but it would be really nice, and I feel like the techs would absolutely love it. So, you know, sometimes it's not all about the cost of something, it's about the return. Like, okay, will the tech love rolling around one of these, having a surface to set their laptop on, having a huge TV screen on the back? Like, is that gonna make them happier? If it does, then yeah, it's gonna be worth putting the money into something like that versus just buying a Harbor Freight one. So that's just the way I think sometimes. Well, I'm gonna jump off here, you all, and move on to the next platform until I do something like Honda Rob. I got to go from one platform to the next. So appreciate y'all stopping by. I'm going to head on over to the old TikTok and rock it from there. See y'all later.